everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tam Tonight Fashion Focus with my friend Christian Garza. Yay! Let's point to the right side. I always point to the wrong side and then I edit. All right. What's going on with you today, Christian? Are you ready?
Yeah, it's very underwhelming, but we'll get into that.
This week we're doing Milan Fashion Week, and as Christian already kind of prefaced, it was a little bit underwhelming, but we did our best. So, Christian, what is your first show for Milan Fashion Week?
I picked Missoni with the caveat that it was still pretty boring.
Okay. Missoni is also one of mine, so we can talk about this together. I love Missoni.
So like 70s vibe, but of course, you know, everybody's going back to the early 2000s, but something about it had like 70s, but approachable, whereas other people have kind of referenced 70s this season as well, but they did it in a more like suiting, glamorous, like Studio 54. Yeah,
Missoni show, I felt like it was a little bit retro. I wouldn't even put like a decade on it because it just felt like it was like the greatest hits maybe of the 60s and 70s paired with a bunch of 2000s stuff. So I saw a lot of like 2000s club girl cuts with the fabric. Like that's why I wore this top today. They had a whole bunch of looks that were like this cut that I really liked. Also Missoni, whether or not they kind of can get stale from their showings because of having like a lot of the same stuff and even like their fabrication being that zigzag print. I feel like every time I see Missoni, when it's done well, it makes me want to wear color. And I am like a boring basic dresser. So if you can get me to want to wear color, like you've really done something. Some of their stuff did seem unwearable, like those half dresses that have like the bikini on the side.
Yes.
I wouldn't know what the point of that was or like where I would wear it because it's not a classy dress.
Right.
But then it's too long to be a club dress. So I don't know about those. But they had a lot of really cute stuff. I love their use of denim in this show. I don't know if Missoni is like widely known for their denim.
I didn't think so either, and I thought I liked that pairing with like their zigzag prints with like little tops that had like drape like trains behind them.
Yes.
But I also thought like after like the second viewing of it, the pants kind of fit. They were ill-fitting, don't you think?
Yeah, they were baggy. But that's what made me think that it was like a more 90s, early 2000s aesthetic that they were trying to pair with like their heritage pieces of like 60s and 70s. Because the jeans were baggy on everybody. Not one model had like a proper fitting jean. So after like you said like a watch or two, I'm like, okay, they clearly did this on purpose. Especially with the tops being so tight.
Yes.
There was no way that they couldn't notice that.
I don't know, maybe if they'd made it more like exaggerated in the baggy, this just made it seem like it was rushed to put together and they didn't like fit to the model. But they also didn't seem like overly excessive, like baggy. Yeah, so there was like a non-committal bagginess to it.
You went drama and then you didn't commit.
Yeah, they got scared. And then another thing with the models is that like all of them were like emaciated. Nobody, you know, they all looked, of course, unhappy and skinny. There was no diversity in like the body type.
Oh my god, that's true. And I guess like from the fashion I grew up with, I'm not that like opposed to seeing a bunch of like, for lack of a better word, drug addict looking girls on the runway. However, like in the newer years and stuff, and especially like the past two fashion weeks, it's been very like size inclusive.
Right.
It is weird to see Missoni sticking to that. I mean, they're Italian. Maybe there's no fat people in Italy, you know, but it did seem like, because a lot of the clothes they would have worked, even like, I'm not saying you have to get a full plus size model, but like a model that's got some boobs or a little bit of hip for the swimwear looks that you put out, and then like some of those evening gowns too. Some of the girls just looked even too skinny to make the evening gown look sexy.
Yeah, and I feel like, I think there was this show is like, they didn't walk well. Maybe because they were too malnourished, they couldn't make it down the aisle. I don't know.
It was like stompy.
Yeah.
And giving our last week, right, with David Coma, when the girls had to do a whole obstacle course in a pool, I feel like there is no excuse when you're on dry, flat ground in a warehouse for you not to serve a Naomi Campbell.
The bar is low.
The bar is in hell with this, with these walks. I guess. The clothes are cute. I would take everything from this collection and like go to my local cleaners or seamstress and like cut here and raise a hemline there or whatever. But all of it is very wearable and cute, so I'm not mad at any of it.
What was your first one?
My first one is Prada. And again, it was boring. But Prada is like boring clothes, and that's kind of why I picked it, because Prada is like, if you are a rich secretary, if you work for a C-level executive, right, and y'all have all this money, maybe Silicon Valley or New York City, you can be wearing Prada in that office, because it's very like office, it's real estate clothes, Prada, and the low heel and all of that. But I am noticing that Prada is trying to get in on the logo mania by placing that triangle on everything, even if it doesn't make sense. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess so.
Sorry. I thought that maybe since that, they have their two creative directors now, that, I don't know, it would have been a little bit more inspired. Because, Prada, they've gone, like, I think one of the collections I remember of them was, like, when they did the whole, like, retro 1950s, but futurism. She, like, pushes things, but then this was, like, underwhelming.
And the Prada of my childhood, why I love Prada so much, it was very simple, wearable clothes, but it was like themed. So they had like the flight attendant theme and all these crazy like kitsch type of stuff, but that still looked cute. And if you didn't know about Prada and didn't watch the show, the clothes could be very wearable in outside life, and only like another fashion person would get it. But now it's just like, I don't know, and I don't want to blame this on like their popularity in the Asian markets, because this show too was like a side-by-side show with Milan and Shanghai. Maybe they're taking like more of that, like the Asian people are cleaning up, they're buying a lot of clothes, they're taking on that Asian aesthetic with the brand, and it's getting too simple and too boring.
Maybe with like, well, that's what like Raf is known for, is like minimalism. So maybe he's just like dumbing it down too much.
A little bit too much. And then my complaint about the Shanghai show, I did really think that it was cool with them like having the technology, the full use of technology, and using like the boards and stuff, the LED screens, to show the Shanghai show in Milan and vice versa. But like online with watching it, it seemed very, very overtly, in my opinion, right, I'm not nobody, racist, because the Milan show is like diverse. They've got black girls, they've got Indian girls, they got white girls, they got everybody. But then in Shanghai, there was only Asian after Asian on the runway. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, because it's your country, and I'm sure the country is like very mono, I forget the word when it's only like one culture. I'm sure there's not a whole bunch of immigration and all that in Shanghai, especially given the times right now. But still, I don't think we should be exporting fashion and then exporting that same old idea of we're only going to show our people on the runway. That's ugly.
I thought of that too, but then I kind of like chalked it up to like maybe they were just like short on models, or because they were booking within Shanghai, so maybe that's all they could book there. I don't know.
Y'all need to do an exchange student program with these girls and send them over.
Maybe all the diverse girls were, busy with Milan and then getting ready for Paris.
Oh, and they didn't want to trek over to Shanghai for one show. I guess. But China, I don't want to see it no more, because y'all are colonizing the hell out of Africa, so I know y'all know what black people look like, and I know you have some over there that are available that you can be putting on the runway. Tall and skinny, those are the only rules. The other rules that you have in your mind, wash them out. I don't want to see this in the future. Thank you. Prada, I guess. Raf Simons. I really like Raf Simons. It makes me sad that every time he goes to these houses, it's kind of underwhelming. I think probably his best time was at Givenchy.
I liked him when he was at Dior.
Okay, Dior was cute. I really like Dior too. But like I said before, it was giving screen prints, like all of his clothes. He was making these fanciest Dior dresses and like just covering them in a nice painting.
That was ironic, but it's like a little snip clip, whatever, of Paris. But I think he just showed, and I saw some images online and he just had like regular clothing, and he screen printed it on top of those. So you're not wrong.
Raf Simons used to be like in a rock band. I found out through my internet research. I don't know, like Swedish punk rock or something. Maybe those are his times. He's harkening back to his band t-shirts that he used to make.
Because they were band t-shirts. Like, that's what he screen printed over the clothing.
I'm sorry, Ralph. Please, if we ever get famous, please send me clothes. I love you. I'm not disrespectful. All right, what is your next one?
So my next one, I really liked it. But it was also a mixed bag. It was Fendi. That was the one that like harkened back to like the 70s, and it was like glam. It was kind of like Guy Bourdin, and I guess like the word to describe it was at first like hot white, because it had like all these like outfits come out and everything's all white and just like caftans and like luxurious fabrics and one whole outfit in one color, just like well done. I think the tricky part is that you know, like Fendi, you're known for accessories, but you don't have really a design language for like clothing. So, and what was it? It's who is it at Fendi now? Something
Kim Jones.
Kim, yes, Kim Jones. You know, he just got there, and so he really needs to like establish like what it is that Fendi looks like in clothing.
Okay, this is one of my shows too. I really, really like this show, and I felt like, yes, Kim Jones is new, and I believe he has a lot of jobs too, so I don't know how he's not getting like designer burnout, but another conversation for another day. I really felt like he had the spirit of Karl Lagerfeld, may he rest in peace, flowing through him with this like 90s, harkening 70s, sumptuous clothes, and it was like 90s, 2000s video girl with some of the looks coming down. It was very glamorous. But yes, I do see, and maybe like the show we'll talk about at the end for our words, because I know we both have the same one too. It was like, that makes it very hard when you're up against these other heritage houses that are your age. Fendi doesn't really have a signature piece as far as clothing. Oh, I look at that and I know that's Fendi. Like Chanel has tweed and YSL has like the flowy 70s look on lock.
I was looking at it and I was like, oh, this could be like YSL. Like the suiting and such.
Yeah. So Fendi, besides like the accessories, like you're saying, like I would love a mean Fendi boot in a bag. They really don't have anything that I could look out on the street and be like, yeah, that's a Fendi dress, or that's a Fendi, even Prada, with them being so plain. Like they have staples and Fendi doesn't have that. So I don't know. I did like the glamour of the show. I love the browns and the
abstract prints, like the faces.
Yes, those are cute.
And as you put them on like furs, it got more and more abstract. It was really pretty.
So I guess Kim Jones, we'll see what you do next season, but I really, really like this one. I'm not mad at it at all.
What was your next one?
My next one is Bloomery. Is that how you say it?
Bloomery,
yeah. Okay. They had like a full-on 2000s club girl runway, and that's why I wore my hair like this, because it was given Paris Hilton on The Simple Life. They had a whole bunch of those like flowy silk, asymmetric cuts, gathered at the waist and super, super short. Like you would have to almost wear biker shorts or something under it so your butt doesn't show. Skirts and dresses. It was very cute, very club. They had a lot of prints on the silk or chiffon that they used too, and that reminded me of the 90s. Some of that denim print on the like silk chiffon type of stuff did remind me of Dior from the early 2000s when they did the same thing. And then one of the dresses was worn by SZA at an award show, you know, a few years ago. So like that's kind of weird, but I guess nobody owns the art of printing on other fabrics to make it, you know, have a look. I know for sure we'll see Beyonce in one of these B belts or B accessories. It was cute. I don't know, like we talked about on the last review, I don't know who is going to come out the champion of like the early 2000s club girl aesthetic, because so many people are trying to jump on it right now that it's going to get quickly overdone, and then once fast fashion gets a hold of it, none of us will really need y'all to buy it. So I don't know where this is going to go.
It was really pretty, and then I liked it, but you know, I liked it the first time that it was around, and now it's just kind of, it's kind of like historic costume, like going back to like the 2000s. And then they had those butterflies, and then like there was so many collections that had butterfly motifs everywhere. But it was a pretty collection.
Yes, this collection looked like Mariah Carey and, you know, her arch nemesis Jennifer Lopez in 2000.
She doesn't know her.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful. I'm not mad at any of it. It's fun too. So wait, the other point I have about these type of clothes in fast fashion is, okay, if this is supposed to be spring summer 22 and we're in 21 right now, barely going into fall, you don't think that Pretty Little Thing and Ego and H&M, Forever 21, everybody else, the online girls, aren't going to see this show and start cranking out a satin mini skirt, silk mini skirt?
Yeah.
Are you guys not afraid of that? Like the showing might have to, the calendar might have to speed up, or I don't know what's going to happen, because you guys aren't going to be able to like stop that from happening. And now even the girls, like the rich girls or the outwardly rich, you know, on social media and, you know, out in the world, even they now are down with the high and low agenda. Like they will go out and buy the super expensive designer accessories and then wear it with like an old poly dress or a Forever 21 dress. So I don't really know where the market is going to be for these like expensive, kind of cheap looking clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
in, I don't know. I'm even trying to think of the girls that like care, but even the girls that do, like, okay, for a perfect example, who's the youngest richest, right, in America? Oh, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner could afford this, and this would be her aesthetic, and she could wear this. But also, all the fast fashion brands are going to send her stuff too. Like, she could go to Celeb Boutique or House of CB now, and get one of these dresses and just buy the boots, buy the Bon Marie belt. I don't know. Maybe I think too deeply into it with my fashion education.
That's a lot.
But I don't know, the market for, and I feel like that's why brands don't stay around, because there's not a market for the stuff that you make.
I feel like that's, like that's what determines fashion. It's like, maybe it's because they're not moving with it, or they're more reactive, I guess, because now we're just kind of like reacting like what's popular instead of like them, really pushing something different.
Okay, that's probably what it is. The biggest difference from older fashion and now. When we were younger, it was like the designers pushed the trends and they trend set. Now they just follow what's already popular. So it does seem late. You guys have to work on that. I don't know if that model, especially with the see now, buy now. I don't know, guys. Whatever, I guess. What is your next show?
Okay, so I did not like the Versace Fendi collaboration, but in my mixed review, I did like Versace, mostly because the clothing was like, another Versace clothes with the safety pins all over it, the same colors, the same prints, and even the same models. But I like the accessories. They included accessories that were like, they showed a phone, an iPhone on the runway, and they also had like, I think it was an AirPod like holders like behind your neck. And they showed a lot of cute bags. They were body inclusive, although I wish they had put her in a different outfit, just because, she's a little bit bigger. You don't have to like swath her in like cloth.
Yes.
But yeah, most of it was like the accessories that I liked.
For Versace, regular Versace. Okay. I just really, I don't mind regular Versace, even if it's tacky or it's like not, because every season it's not like they come to kill. Sometimes they just really rest on their laurels and put out another Medusa print, collection, and people buy it. I really like their motif and their aesthetic. I feel like Versace for me is a certain look. Like if I was going on vacation or if I was invited to some type of Vegas event, then you definitely wear Versace without a question. But the Fendace show, the Fendi x Versace, I cannot abide.
It was just so tacky. I think it's just because Balenciaga did it, previously with Gucci, and then it was kind of like monumental, the collaboration. Or they're not calling it collaboration, but they're calling it something else. But this one they called a swap. And It just seemed like a bunch of logos, and it's like half thought through. It was just like trashy.
The worst part for me was, aside from it looking like a swap meet collection, like I grew up in LA, this looks like the alley, downtown Santee Alley, got a hold of something. Like they broke into the warehouse and they got the machines, or they got the leftover fabric and they sewed it all up. Or like Sloss and Swap Meet, you want to have best of both worlds, you want to wear Fendi and Versace, so they sewed it. I don't like it. But also, I think the biggest lesson from this show, and we kind of already touched on it a little bit, was that Fendi does not have a strong enough brand identity outside of the double F logo to compete with the whole house like Versace, who's got their own prints, the Greek key thing, the Medusa thing, the safety pin thing. They own so many looks, and they've made so many looks iconic with like their use of the celebrity models and stuff, even all the way back from the 90s, and then their celebrity placement up until today on red carpets and different things. Versace is really like burned in the brains of the world as far as fashion and what their look is. Fendi doesn't have that.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point. It's just like, I guess you really couldn't tell like what was a part of Fendi other than like the Fs. Other than that, it was just mostly Versace.
Yeah, it was like a Versace show, and I really love Fendi, and on the grave of Karl Lagerfeld, I will never disrespect. But it's just like it was a whole afterthought. Like we designed this whole collection, and then somebody from Fendi called us. They had leftover stuff, and they were out of money. They're like, "Yeah, we got you. We can slide some Fs on all of this stuff. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, just throw some Fs on it.
I don't know. And even like, okay, Versace is kind of known for their like clunky, for lack of a better term, like stripperish kind of heels. Fendi is known for the boot. How come we couldn't get a mashup with that and get a stripper boot?
No.
Fendi does fur very well. I didn't really see like the good use of fur on this. No,
It was like wasted potential.
This was bad. Wasted potential. And just the desecration of two heritage houses. Why would you do this?
So my other one that I thought, because there wasn't a lot, I wish I could have found like one more that I really loved for this Milan. But one that I was kind of like super underwhelmed was Armani.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that one, but I liked some of the accessories. One of them, it even like reminded me of a Chloe bag. It's just how they did the hoop bag, you know.
Yes.
And as I was watching the show, I was like, who even wears Armani other than like old white women? And it's just like one pant and a suit with, you know, shoulder pads. Show a billion variations of it in every color, in like bland colors too. It was, I don't know, just, I guess not fashion. It was more of it's for somebody who believes in style. And I don't like that style.
Okay. The old adage was that, or so I've heard, is that Versace is for the mistress and Armani was for the wife, right? And never have two collections been more telling of that. If we were to place this Versace only, not that Fendace mess, but this Versace only collection next to this Armani. This Armani was so just bland and boring, like Hillary Clinton in 1999. It was every TV mom that is like a lawyer or something. These are her clothes. The use of like the tans and the browns, even with the pinstripe, it didn't make it look happy. I feel like these are the clothes that you wear when you are dating a criminal and he has to go to court. And you want to make it look like he comes from a good home. And like these were mistakes that he did. El Chapo's wife could be wearing these to court.
Even I don't know, maybe because like you can do shoulder pads and have it be like new. And other people do it, but I feel like whenever you see it in this context, it's just so like dated.
Yeah, it makes it look stale. Then at the same time, with vintage being so popular now and everybody and their grandma having like a Depop shop and all of this, I can go to Goodwill and I can find a shoulder pad look like this. I don't need, and then if you're going to use the same stale old prints, I get Armani is like heritage and all of that, but you have to figure out some way to make it new.
That's
You
like
could
fashion.
You could have gave us a top like this under one of those suits.
But I guess, you know, like on the other flip of the coin, you know, I guess at this point he knows his customer and they're still buying and that's how he's still around. It's just kind of boring.
That's true. That's true. Just boring. The rich people, a certain level of rich are boring. You know who else I see in these clothes? If you guys watch Billions, the sister on Billions, she wears these clothes like a mean bitch that's like into politics on Capitol Hill. And, you know, she's a trust fund child. This is what she's wearing. With that stiff bob cut. You know, she's taking people to jail. Okay, Armani.
Did you have another good one? Because I had already wasted all my bad ones.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the last, not really good. This, Milan was, like we said, underwhelming. So I'm sorry that all the shows we liked are the same. Like, clearly we have good taste in what was given to us. The other show that I would say that's kind of on the fence for me is called Number 21 or NO.21. I don't get it. But they had to show, and it's again, everybody wants this 2000s club girl, demure / church girl. Really, the name of this collection or this look should be like Beyonce and Fighting Temptations. You know, like she was sexy, but she was going to church. And she was a mother, but she wanted a boyfriend. Like, that's what's going on with these collections. And I just don't know who's going to dominate it because, again, if I watch your show and I feel like I could piece all this together from the mall, then what was the need of the show? But there was a lot of cute pieces. And I could tell, like, the girl that you're talking to. But I don't know if she would save up her money and buy it from you, Number 21. So I need you guys to come a little bit up on the fantasy side. Like, less Kardashian street style and a little bit of Lady Gaga. Add that in there.
Well,
It might be so.
I really liked what we saw a lot of, I don't know, even in, what was it, like London Fashion Week, there was a lot of like macrame, like hand done like processes, also in this one. And It was nice. Some of the shoes I didn't think were nice or like wearable. It was the ones that had like the fringe on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I hate it when people are like, "Your shoe's untied." It's like, oh well, I don't care. But this would do, like, where are you going to wear this to when you're like flailing about? And a lot of it, it was like styling rather than like the actual clothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like you're saying, that's a good point about functionality. I didn't even take it there with them with functionality. I'd say a good 70% of these aren't functional. Even how you style them, like the shoes. Where am I going to wear those shoes that have stuff hanging all off of them?
By the way, Alberta Ferretti, they had the same like sandal with flailing about fabric.
I cannot even wear this outside. You think somebody's going to carry me around in a litter so I can show these shoes? That doesn't make any sense. I guess people. I think the first sandal being out during quarantine in the American fashion, I don't know what everybody else was doing, but the girls really love that Nike flip-flop with that swap of fur on top. And maybe the designers saw that and they were like, I can do that. I can bring that upscale. You know, like they did with the nail shop slippers. No, you can't. It's ugly. I don't want to see it. Is there anything else we should discuss from Milan Fashion Week before we close it out?
We're reviewing Paris Fashion Week next.
Yes, we are. And Paris was beautiful, let me say. And I feel like if you guys want to donate to us 50 cents each view, so if Christian and I can go to Paris and review live next year, go ahead and do that. If each of you guys give us 50 cents, you can sponsor a child. And we could go to Fashion Week and we'll pay for our own accommodations. We'll get our own outfits.
Jobs.
We have jobs, and we can split a croissant. We're trying to stay skinny. Get us like a flight over there, you know? Oh, we need to pay for our vaccine passports. All right, see you guys next week for Paris.
Bye.
Bye.